And as the Brazilian players are introduced to the Duke of Kent, let me just chat again to David Pleat and Kevin Keegan. David, you were in Mexico, of course. How good are the Brazilians these days, or how good were they in '86 compared with the Brazilians of the past that we all talk so much about?
Well, they're very fluent passers of the ball. They're all lovely live athletes. We see in this clip here against Northern Ireland the patience of the Brazilians, the way they just knock the ball around. They're never in a hurry. They're never prepared to give the ball away and just knock the long ball into the box and have what you call a fight ball. And here, they're just being nice and steady and sure of themselves until all of a sudden Josimar strives and hit that spectacular shot, which actually I think he might have invited Pat Jennings here tonight to describe that one. He had a better view than I.
Well, there's talk that you're interested in Josimar, is that right?
There's newspaper speculation attached to Tottenham and the various players around the world all the time. Indeed, one of them is one of your guests this evening. But no, I have no contact with any Brazilian players at this moment. I shall just enjoy the game tonight, and it'll be a refreshing change from the tension that's generated by watching your own club side.
Well, let's talk about an English player now, John Barnes. Kevin, John Barnes very much in the side tonight because of that magnificent goal he scored in Rio 3 years ago.
It's possibly the greatest goal we've ever seen an English player score, and he's doing what he does best, running at people, and he frightens people. I mean, once you get in the box and you've got his ability, no one dares mistime a tackle or anything on you. It's a penalty, and this game's tailor-made for him, really. I mean, he could really restake his England place tonight. He's sort of been in the wilderness. Chris Waddle's in the driving seat, and very rightly so. But if ever one game could turn it, it could be tonight, and the game's going to suit this lad right down to the ground.
Well, Kevin, you're off to join Bryan Moore in the commentary position, so we'll let you go now. As we get ready for the match, England against Brazil, live from Wembley Stadium, our commentator, Bryan Moore.
Well, our first job is to take a check on the two teams, of course, and we'll start with England, with Peter Shilton back in goal, of course. He missed the game in Turkey. And at right back we have Gary Stevens, although we're still looking at Peter Shilton. There's Gary Stevens. The new full-back and the new cap, Stuart Pearce from Nottingham Forest, Peter Reid at number 4, Tony Adams at number 5, the Arsenal man, and at number 6, Terry Butcher. The skipper, Brian Robson, is at number 7. John Barnes wears the number 8 shirt. Peter Beardsley gets his first game for a month, and here's Peter. He wears the number 9 shirt. Gary Lineker will be at number 10, and the lone Tottenham player in the England side tonight, Chris Waddle, at number 11. Brazil with their World Cup goalkeeper Carlos. They've got another World Cup star, Josimar, at right back. Geraldo is one of the centre-backs alongside Ricardo, who wears the number 4 shirt. At number 5 is Douglas, the star of their Olympic side. At number 6, the left-back Nilsinho. At 7, that exciting winger Muller, another World Cup man. At 8, we have Silas. Mirangine is the young centre-forward at number 9. This is Edu at number 10. And number 11, another midfielder, Valdo. So we've got some idea of who they are, what they look like. And this is Josimar. You've just heard David Pleat denying that Tottenham have any interest in him at the moment. He scored brilliant goals from the right-back position against Northern Ireland and Poland in the World Cup last summer. And then there's Müller. He's one of their bright hopes for the future, 21 years old, but he only arrived late yesterday afternoon after a tiring 13-hour journey from Rio. England's new cap, 25-year-old Stuart Pearce from Nottingham Forest. What a great night it is for Stuart. It could also be a tough one facing Müller and Josimar down his flank. And as we've said, John Barnes. What a good move by Bobby Robson to restore him to the side. Like us, the Brazilians remember that stunning goal of his in Rio back in 1984 that helped England to that 2-0 victory. Our referee tonight is Michel Vautreau from France. The third time he's refereed an international at Wembley. Recently also did the European Cup semi-final between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich that caused all sorts of problems there. I hope it's an easier one for him tonight. And in the crowd, we have Diego Maradona. Welcome to Diego, welcome to you, and let's hope we've got another stunning game for you tonight. It's certainly a hard act to follow after that brilliant cup final between Coventry and Spurs on Saturday. England in white, Brazil in that famous yellow strip with blue shorts. Brazil attacking the goal to our left. Here's Gary Stevens. First time he started an international for England since the World Cup game against Argentina. Forward towards Peter Beardsley, and a goal kick. An untried Brazilian side, as we've said, but as Bobby Robson also says, have you ever known a weak one? And they could probably field 4 sides of equal strength. Well, tonight we shall see. It's always something of a special glow of pleasure when a side wearing these famous yellow shirts comes and plays here. Pearce getting his first touch, and Tony Adams, a free kick to Brazil. Seems very much as though we're going to have a musical accompaniment to the game tonight. There's a little Brazilian crowd in the far corner with drums and everything else going, as you would expect whenever Brazilians get together to watch football. Well, a free kick for them. To be taken by Geraldo, the big centre-back. And he's certainly taking an enormous run-up. Crashing it straight into the England wall. Driven in again wide. And in fact, there was a flag up for offside. Bobby Robson saying that this is a one-off game. That's Geraldo. I badly want to win it, he says. Qualification for the European Championship, that's 6 months away. I badly want to repeat the victory he had in Rio back in 1984. There's Terry Butcher. Nice skill there by Adu. And here's Adams. Robson. And now Reed. Trying to get Beardsley away. A lovely ball by Peter Reed. Played in there first time by Beardsley towards Lineker. That's a combination that has looked pretty potent for England when they've been together. Now Waddle. Well, Nelsinho, the left back, marked him well. And a corner to be taken by John Barnes. And a deep one, and punched away there by Carlos. Peter Reed trying to get underneath it. Only Stuart Pearce is back. Good left foot. Nelsinho getting it back to his keeper, Carlos. Any early thoughts, Kevin?
Well, there's a lot of things to think about. How will Peter Beardsley stand up to it? The first game being at Wembley on what is everyone knows is a very demanding pitch, but it just shows you how highly Bobby Robson must rate him to put him straight into the deep end. Also, a new cap, a difficult batsman, but one that if he comes through will only make him better for it. You know, so. I don't agree with what people say about the Brazilians. I think, like very rightly Bobby Robson said, I think any side they put out, you've got to give them the respect they deserve. But we shouldn't give them too much.
No, indeed. Well, here's Chris Waddle. And now Stevens. England's throw. Geraldo away. Butcher. Gary Stevens. Beardsley. Oh, he's picked this man beautifully. But the cross was a poor one. So a goal kick to Brazil. Play in Dublin at the weekend, in Scotland next Tuesday, and then continue their European tour with games in Finland and in Israel. Beardsley challenged unfairly from the back by Geraldo.
For those of with long enough memories. Remember last time they played here, they didn't come and play pretty football, Bryan. If you remember, it's a very physical game too. There's no doubt about it. They can play both types of games. People think that they can only play one type, which is pretty football. They can mix it when they want to.
Waddle's free kick, three Brazilian defenders going for it. This is Josimar. Silas, another man with World Cup experience. Brazil's throw. And Josimar to take it. Merendinha. Stopped by Robson. And a free kick. Terry Butcher for England. Beardsley first to show for it. Gets it through to Gary Stevens. And now Waddle again. A lovely ball by Waddle for Stevens, played in early. And Douglas getting it away. And it'll be... So Barnes with the corner for England again, hit towards the near post. Beardsley tried to get in there, but he was beaten to it by Douglas. It'll be another corner. Much deeper one again. Butcher's in there for England, and just over the top, a goal kick. Robson sitting at the back of the royal box. His greatest moment as an England manager, of course, was on that June afternoon in the Maracanã Stadium in Rio back in 1984, when goals by Barnes and Hateley beat Brazil. Came at a very timely moment for him because things had not gone too well for Bobby Robson over the preceding months. With Pearce again for England. Butcher. Cut out by Geraldo. And an offside flag on the far side. Muller caught offside.
That shows you how quick they can turn defence into attack. Remember playing once against the great Rivellino in Rio, and they can hit the ball 70, 80 yards. They'll find it a little bit more difficult here because the ball, as we all know, like in Mexico, here it doesn't fly as far, but they certainly can, in one foul swoop, turn what looks like a tricky situation for them into a goal. And that's what they'll be looking to do tonight.
The goal kick. It's the 13th time that the two nations have met. And England have won two. First one back in 1956 and then that one in 1984. Peter Reid with a header. It's Beardsley, the nice little touch. Barnes, Beardsley chasing away against Josimar. He took a shove in the back from the Brazilian fullback. It'll be a free kick again to England. 10 minutes of the game gone if you've just joined us. England 0, Brazil 0. Barnes will take it. Beardsley is there also, as you can see. Adams and Butcher up from the back. Lineker too is in there. And that's a goal kick. Tony Adams, the Fiat Young Player of the Year. It's his third cap tonight, the Arsenal defender. Josimar again, and again. And a throw to Brazil. Back to Muller again, a good break, and Pearce sticking well there. Real deflection there, and Muller showing his pace. Gets the ball through to Silas. This is Valdo, the midfielder. And Douglas trying to get something going, playing it in for Douglas again, and some very intricate play by the Brazilians on the edge of the England penalty area. And away comes Waddle once more. Good play by Waddle. And another free kick, this time for Brazil. Valdo. Douglas. Silas to Josimar. Good tackling there by Peter Reid for England. It won't reach Lineker though. Here's Butcher. This time Beardsley's on the chase. Looking to get the better of Geraldo. Succeeds in doing so. Bryan Robson with the shot. Deflected there by Nelsinho and caught by the keeper Carlos. Now the chase is on at the other end. Mirandinho gets it back. Tony Adams to Peter Shilton. Waddle's gone inside. And the keeper down again. Good keeper, 31 years old, 41 caps for Brazil. Carlos the keeper. Muller, Mirandinha. A poor shot, and no problems there for England. Valdo, Ricardo, now the number 10 Edu, a foul on him and a free kick. No, he's playing it on. It's with Butcher for England. Coming up to the quarter of an hour mark, still no score here in this Rous Cup international between England and Brazil. Waddle. Oh, good play. Really enjoying himself tonight, Chris Waddle. Really showing no ill effects from the disappointment on Saturday. Robson trying to get it through towards Beardsley. And Carlos out again. Pierce.
It's lovely to see Chris Waddle win his battle against the crowd here. You know, he didn't have the greatest start as an England player, but he's proved himself worthy out there on the pitch where it really counts, Bryan, and I'm delighted for him. He's a smashing lad. He's a sort of player that people want to see play and run at people, and he's certainly doing that this season. He's had a great season.
Well, the Brazilians saw him in the cup final on Saturday. They, I think, was enthralled as everybody else by the game. They said they thought it was a typically English game. They thought Waddle was exceptional for Tottenham, but they loved Dave Bennett of Coventry City. The manager said that he felt that Bennett's performance was typically Brazilian, and he was astonished that he wasn't in the England squad for this game. He also liked the work of Cyril Regis for Coventry as well. Well, here's Butcher. And now Tony Adams. Waddle. Beardsley gets it back. A little bit of space there for Robson. Barnes. Inside for Stuart Pearce. Play as you do for Nottingham Forest, were the instructions from Bobby Robson to the Forest fullback. Nice ball by Beardsley. Gary Stevens linking up well. Crashed off Valdo. And it'll be a throw to England. Stevens with the throw, good long throw. Nelsinho away. Nelsinho with the throw. Intercepted there by Adams for England. Flicking out the ball just a little too far ahead of Lineker. Having played for Barcelona over the weekend, Gary Lineker only arrived at the England camp yesterday. Foul that time by Gary Stevens, a free kick to Brazil. As you'll notice, there's a new England strip being worn tonight. I'm certainly no arbiter of fashion, but I wonder what you think of it. I say the thing that worries me is that I think that's about the fourth change of strip England have had in about 10 years. I'm sure a lot of mums and dads are going to be plagued by their children wanting a new kit, which I suppose can cost £20 and more. That's the thing that worries me about it. Robson. Stevens. And now Waddle. That's a good cross there. Beardsley at the far post. And Lineker almost coming in. And Beardsley showing no ill effects whatsoever at the moment of that hamstring injury that meant that he lost the last few games for Newcastle and hasn't played a game for a month. Advantage there played by the French referee, hoping that John Barnes might capitalise on it. But England's throw, and a lively enough start for England. Barnes again, and a corner. Well, don't expect me to score a goal, the quality of the goal that you saw me get in 1984, said John Barnes. He's a man who's looking to make a move, wants possibly to go and play abroad. And this match, amongst other countries, is being beamed live to Italy. So Barnes, the number 8, might well be able to do himself some good.
I do feel, Brian, that the advantage we got from corners and set pieces, we've got two very big lads in there, in Butch and Big Adams, and certainly think that's one of the areas where we maybe have the edge over them. The Brazilians are also very small up front, which you know, probably gives them problems in the other area, in that they don't like marking small players normally.
Geraldo away, yes. Butcher 6'4", Adams 6'1". This is Merendinho. Stopped by Terry Butcher. There must have been a little infringement off the ball there, giving Brazil the free kick. 20 minutes of the game gone, and still 0-0. Silas to Merendinho. Silas again. Geraldo, Valdo. And getting possession again with the challenge from Bryan Robson. Pierce. Again, big Geraldo. Played for about a year in Saudi Arabia. Right in there towards Lineker. Barnes won't get to that one. Josimar holding him off. Came late into the World Cup squad in Mexico to Josimar. He played in the last 3 games. Really made an impression. Now Edu. Long ball towards the speed of Muller. Merendinho waiting in the middle. Easily charged down. Peter Reid, quick distribution, finding Chris Waddle. Sweeping ball and a lovely one to John Barnes, and now to Bryan Robson. Cut out by Ricardo. Going in quickly, but Ricardo was hurdling him and got the better of him, and Edu, whose distribution so far has looked very good indeed, this time finding Muller. Here's Edu again, Merendinho waiting in the middle there, and so too is Silas here. There's Merendinho trying to get it back to Silas. Oh, that could have been a disaster from Gary Stevens, but Muller wasn't quite quick enough to spot it. There's some potentially very dangerous and intricate close work by the Brazilians on the edge of our own penalty area, Kevin.
Yeah, it's their style, Brian. You often feel they over-elaborate slightly. You know, they have just one more pass when maybe a shot would be better, and then suddenly they shoot when you think maybe they should elaborate a little. But that's what they live off, the element of surprise. As we've already seen, they've done a few things that we don't see every day in our football. I mean, they dribble out from the back like that, which would give most managers heart attacks, but it's commonplace where they play. They're expected to do it.
A lovely ball from Butcher to Lineker. The cross, and only Nelsinho's there, the left back for Brazil. Valdo. Edu. Silas. 5 of this Brazilian side were in their World Cup squad in Mexico. The goalkeeper Carlos, Josimar, of course, we've spoken about, Muller, Silas and Valdo. So it's not their strongest side because of some problems, club versus country, with important games being played in Brazil at the moment. And they haven't called upon any of their European stars. great Sócrates has now retired. Zico's only just getting back into action again after a knee injury. So they are really playing for the future here. And here's Baldo with a shot which threatened all sorts of danger. There's one who was in the Mexico World Cup squad. Didn't actually get a game though in the World Cup finals. The shot is wide of the target.
Still 25 minutes to have the first shot, Bryan, but they've already shown us that they'll shoot from anywhere normally, but tonight they seem to be elaborating a bit, maybe just finding their feet. They haven't played together much, this team, and it's showing on odd little moves break it down, which normally you don't expect from them.
This is Douglas. Baldo again. Baldo. Gary Stevens for England. There's Waddle. Stevens. And Ricardo cutting it out quite comfortably. They were getting some trouble there until Ricardo hooked them out of it. Beardsley really lively in this opening spell, and here he is again on the ball for England, finding John Barnes. Pearce has gone away down the left for him. Stuart Pearce played in early. Reed. Waddle. Robson. Famous for handball, the referee said no. So here's Naldo for Brazil. Edu. Erendinha. Ball, I think, there by Erendinha. Possibly a free kick to England at any rate. Stevens. Constant beat of the drums on the far side, and Carlos needing to stretch.
I think the final ball in's got to be just a little bit cleverer than that, Bryan. I don't think we'll get through them that way, but certainly we've taken the game to them, which is lovely to see, and we've got the players now capable of doing that. You know, you can only probably Robson's privileged in my opinion. He's got 4 or 5 players out there who frighten anybody in the world when they start running at him. Waddler, Beardsley, Barnes.
Well, now it's Muller doing some running here, but it was just the touch by Butcher that was enough to get it back to Shilton. Yes, taking your point, there's the makings of an England side, you feel now.
Oh yeah, not only that, Bryan, there's others in the wings, you know, they're getting a nice sort of balance there. They look like they've played together quite a while, and certainly up front we've got some magical players now.
Beardsley again continuing to do well, but that time Lineker was brought down. Amazing 18 goals for Gary Lineker in the 23 games he's played for England so far. 6 in the World Cup finals, of course, another 6 this season, including all 4 in that game in Spain. Barnes once more, but an infringement. Just a little fussy at the moment, the referee, stopping it. Really the game having no chance to get a reasonable flow to it, which I have to say, on Saturday, Neil Midgley managed to supply for the Coventry Spurs Cup final. Now it's Pearce. Robson. Gary Stevens willingly going down the right again for him. Again Waddle looking for that ball all the time and getting it again from Robson. Played in time to Beardsley. Reed, and Beardsley galloping up, plays it in, just in front of Lineker. Some magical play by Peter Beardsley again though for England.
Just like dropping little grenades all over the pitch, this fella. He's unbelievable. Wherever he goes, something happens. I mean, nothing clever about it. He just flicks it in. Simple ball, but maybe just caught Gary out there, you know. Such a good ball in. The sort that he's lived off, maybe got a lot of his goals from. Just 6 yards out, 5 yards out.
Now here's Brazil. But Stevens was in first, clashing with Valdo. Douglas, the number 5. Edu. And Pearce. Oh, mistake by Pearce. Mirandina's there. And Muller, a lovely turn. And Gary Stevens got Pearce out of a really embarrassing moment there. Elsinho with the cross. Stuart Pearce a little unnerved perhaps, but he got his head to that one and finds John Barnes with it. That was so nearly a moment of disaster for the new cap. Good play by Lineker, and here's Peter Reid as England comes storming forward again. No foul. Robson trying to come in and pick up the loose ball. Barnes succeeds in keeping it in play. Has he got the pace to go round Josimar? The Brazilian World Cup star comes away with it, sells a little dummy as he goes down that touchline, plays it inside, first time for Silas, and now for Mirandinha. This is genuine Brazilian play now, and stopped by good, strong English tackling from Tony Adams. And here's Beardsley again. Waddle. Barnes. Robson. Waddle again. Trying to get Lineker in. Go on, said the referee.
It's certainly a foul, Bryan, but you never get them. Always seems other countries get them when you play away from home. He's certainly holding on to Gary there. He still nearly made something out of it, but he was certainly fouled.
Silas now to Valdo. The game really warming up. With just over half an hour gone. Elsinho. A really scorching move from the Brazilians just now, from one length of the field to the other, one into the other.
Only they seem to be able to do it. I mean, 3 or 4 flying moves, and actually the lad up from Mirandinha, he's been shooting from anywhere all night. The first chance he really had to justify shooting, and he passed the buck.
Lineker. Now Adams. Robson. Pearce. Valdo. Played in for Edu. Looks such a dangerous player from the midfield. Valdo playing it in towards Muller. Pearce has missed that one. And Silas with a shot.
They're just starting to ask young Pearce a few questions now. The last couple of times, I think nerves just got the better of him. They normally expect to clear this. It certainly is ball. But this is Wembley. This is playing for England. It's all right for Bryan Club to say, just pretend you're playing for Notts Forest, but it's not that easy, unfortunately.
Well, it's Peter Reid now for England. Oh, thought for a moment he'd given it away as well, but it's with Waddle. And now Stevens. Beardsley, it comes off Elsinho. It'll be an England throw. Reid. Robson. Pearce. Now can he get past Josimar? Oh, that's a free kick to England. He's in one way and another Stuart Pearce, who first came to prominence when he played for Wealdstone, not so far from here, then went to Coventry City before Bryan Club bought him for Nottingham Forest. He's having a fairly torrid time of it. Won England the free kick here after the jostling with Josimar. Beardsley and Barnes behind it. Adams and Butcher up again, and Lineker's gone off behind the goal with only one boot on. And he's got a problem there, and in fact he's now running off to the dressing room while we watch this free kick being taken. Floated in there by Beardsley, punched away by Carlos, put in the game by Chris Waddle, and they had to let that one go over.
I thought this was going to be a new free kick for the minute when I saw him standing behind the goal. I thought, this is a bit different to anything I've seen before.
He's standing down by the tunnel, in fact, putting on another pair of boots.
Doesn't seem to matter what boots this fella puts on, he seems to score goals. Tremendous record.
And by the look of the soles, they're odd boots at the moment. Nice little touch there by Baldo. Butcher, straight forward with the header. Pearce, straight forward with the pass to Reed. Simple ball this time to Robson. Now finding Beardsley. And on this evening's form, nobody better to find. Look at that for acceleration. Costina! What a by Lineker! What a superb England goal! Well, he's done it again, Gary Lineker. And the man who made it again is this fella, Peter Beardsley. What about this for acceleration? And what a superb little cross. And then a flying Houchin-like header. And England into the lead, a goal to nil. From another angle now. All is worth a view. Brilliant play by Beardsley. Delightful little cross. Flying header by Lineker. England ahead. Kevin Keegan.
Well, those new boots certainly work for Lineker, Brian. Tremendous goal. I mean, what can you say? The little fella's, he's accelerating, unbelievable, his bravery. And I mean, Lineker must go down on his knees to see a guy like that. He's got to be worth 5 or 6 goals a year.
Oh, and a goal now for Medinho. After work by Miller. And almost at once, Brazil are back at level. Shilton couldn't hold it. It was Muller in the first place. A good run here. Gets his cross in. Shilton at the stretch couldn't hold it. Adams caught off balance and Mirandinha into the roof of the net. And that's 1-1. 2 goals in a minute. So 1-1. Kevin?
Well, Adams was going for the line, which is always the place to go as defender in that situation. But had they picked the man up, there wouldn't have been a goal there. But we've got a great game on his hands again, Brian. You know, and, I mean, football's the winner. Obviously, it wasn't as great a goal as the England one, but I mean, I just don't think you can have enough goals in football matches. Obviously, you want most of them to go in the Brazil net, not in ours.
Mirandinha. And now Adams. And now Reed. Sad thing really, apart from the fact that it puts Brazil level again, it doesn't really give us enough time quite to savour that superb England goal by Lineker.
It's always the most vulnerable time straight after a goal, Brian, and a number of times that happens. You score, you go 1-0 up and they hit back straight away, and that was time without number in British football.
Right. We've mentioned Brian Clough before, and I know one of the things he always says is when you've scored, the first thing you do after that is get the next tackle in. And we just didn't do that. Brazil punished us for it, and it's 1-1. 19 goals for Gary Lineker, his 24th cap, tremendous rate of striking, and 7 in this one season for England. Now, can England come up with something from this free kick? Crossing it in. corner. In fact, the ball just flicking off the head of Geraldo.
They've worked some nice free kicks, Bryan, already. Everyone inventive, and certainly they put some time in on that, and it can be a match winner.
Reed, Stevens. Another corner. Barnes with that corner towards the near post, flicked on. And it was Beardsley who did the flicking again. But here come Brazil once more, breaking out with Valdo. Mirandinha in space on the far side, but the pass didn't reach him, and Pearce will get it back. Robson. Pearce. Here's Lineker. Pearce again. The Barnes. And away go Brazil. This is Edu. Mirandinha, the scorer. Lovely ball curled there to Valdo. The challenge by Beardsley dispossessed him, and Peter Reid. His pass way off the mark. Goal kick.
Also must remember, Bryan, that Brazil are starting a world tour, and they don't want to start with a defeat. It doesn't have to make it hard work for them, you know. Manager, everybody, and a lot of young players in there who are trying to establish themselves. And in some ways, they might give England more of a game with this type of side than they would with the experienced ones who are just coming. They've seen it all before. We must never underestimate them. They put these yellow jerseys on and they always give you a game.
Butcher losing out badly there. Muller. Pearce got his header in, but Edu. Silas. Josimar to Geraldo. Valdo. Robson after him, snapping at his heels. Mirandinha. Still Robson there, and then Wobble. And three of them eventually get the ball back for England. Waddle. Beardsley again. What game he's having. And now Barnes. Crossed in again towards Gary Lineker, but the tall figure of Geraldo there barring the way once more. Douglas. Finding Muller. Edu, just 3 minutes of the first half left. If you just joined us, the score at Wembley is England 1, Gary Lineker. Brazil 1, Mirandinha. 2 goals within a minute of each other. Now England seeking to get a lead again before half-time. Peter Reid trying to get Lineker on his way again. And pushed back by Geraldo to his keeper, Carlos. Aldo, Silas. Edu. Waddle. 2 minutes of the first half remaining. This is Ricardo.
Always feel a little bit sorry for Barnes. He just hasn't found his England legs yet. You know, he's played a lot of times now. There's no doubt about it. The lad's got tremendous ability, unquestionable. But he can't seem to put it out there together for England over 90 minutes, especially at Wembley. And I'd love to see him have a good game, because he is one of our most talented players, no doubt about it.
It's his 31st cap tonight. You'd have thought after that tremendous goal and the boost of that victory in Brazil 3 years ago that it would have been the start of a great career, but he just hasn't been able to find a consistency to the liking of Bobby Robson. Very often he's been substituted or he's come on as a sub.
But here's Waddle playing with 2 men out wide tonight, just as he did in Brazil those 3 years ago. Robson coming in late on that one, and it'll be a goal kick.
That's Bryan's strength, getting in there on the end of things. You know, he'll be a bit disappointed he didn't do a bit better, but he got bustled off this one a bit. Just flicked off the lad, actually. It should have been a corner.
What about this New England strip, Colin?
Well, I agree with what you said earlier on. They've changed it a lot, and I feel sorry for mums and dads, but it's one of the nicer ones, I must be honest. And certainly the lads who pull it on and play for England, it's certainly more nicer feeling, I can assure you.
Bobby Robson down on the bench now. And a free kick for Brazil. It's with Silas. Edu. Might try something from a long way out then, Valdo. Nelsinho, the left back, linking up. This is Silas again. A little touch by him, Merendino. A little touch by him, Muller there, but Pearce for England. As the half-time whistle goes, a very interesting first half indeed. With the highlights, another stunning goal by Gary Lineker, made for him by Peter Beardsley. But the dynamic duo having put England into the lead. Within a minute, Brazil had drawn level with this goal by Mirandini. So at half-time we get a score here which is England 1, Brazil 1.
Is playing in England.
Fuera del campo.
And for the kind of respect that it is outside the pitch.
A final word. Do you fancy Spurs?
Pardon?
Would you fancy joining Spurs? We've got the manager here tonight.
¿Te gustaría ir al Spurs? Al equipo mío.
Todo depende si quiere él.
Only depends if he wants to.
Diego, thank you for being with us tonight. Ozzy, thank you very much. Let's get back to the game now. Bryan Moore and Kevin Keegan.
Thank you, Nick. Well, match is just 15 seconds old in the second half. The score still 1-1. England in white shirts then attacking now the goal to our left. Silas missing a header. Beardsley, who's missed absolutely nothing tonight, scuttling away after that one. Just look at this. But then in the end, Josimar getting in, and a really strong challenge there between Josimar and Pearce. And a yellow card for the New England cap, Stuart Pearce, for the challenge on Josimar. Kevin Keegan?
Well, it's a shame to see that. For me, the game's not warranted anything like that, really. But it seems to me nowadays, full-backs, they all feel they've got one free shot at anybody. And they sometimes feel they have to do this. Actually, looking at it again, to be fair, I mean, with the benefit of hindsight, slow motion, if anything, the other lad was going for him. To be fair, I think Pearce, be a bit unfair to say that he went over the top there. Certainly it was more Josimar.
In fact, there's a free kick to England, so maybe Josimar also had a booking, and the Brazilians get in the way. Geraldo, and then it's played wide by Peter Reid. So it's possible they both may have got the yellow card.
I suppose slow motion, although it does great for us, it does show sometimes how referees can make mistakes, and makes fools of very good referees at times, to be fair to them.
And that's Waddle for England.
Delightful turn by him, and a long searching cross. Barnes hoping to get on the end of it, and succeeds in doing so. Got a good header in there, considering the angle. Here are Brazil. This is Muller.
Stays down.
They just look at times, Brazil, when they go forward, like they haven't played much together. It just catches them out. You know, the understanding that England seem to have that little bit better on, obviously because they have played that bit more together.
Robson now then for England. Butcher. Beardsley. Robson. Lineker. Waddle. Stevens outside him. Waddle's cross again. And Brazil just happy to get that one away to Valdo. And here they come again. Mirandinha making a good break. Muller now for them, a little back heel, and Mirandinha wasn't able to collect that one. Reed playing it safely back to Shilton. Foul on Lineker. And Ricardo getting a talking to from referee Vautreau from France. Robson not including any of the Spurs players from Saturday other than Chris Waddle, feeling that mentally and physically it may have taken rather a lot out of them, and they may not just have too many tired legs on the field in the last half hour, which he thinks is going to be a very important period of this game. Carlos with the goal kick. For the second half. Good jump by Stevens, equally won by Geraldo. Stevens again. Score still standing at 1-1 if you just joined us. Silas, looks a real quality player. Number 8, member of the Mexico World Cup squad. Valdo, played on for Edu. Muller's on this side of the field, Mirandini's on the far side. There's Mirandini, the goal scorer. Josimar. Well, we know he can shoot from a long way out to good effect, and they get a corner off Stuart Pearce. Brazil's first corner of the game, coming 5 minutes into the second half. And Edu to take it. Geraldo up from the back, big 6-footer. Curling it in, and a goal kick. Quiet start to the second half, Kevin.
Yeah, they're feeling each other out again. It's, you know, half-time often just breaks the momentum up, but we certainly saw enough in the last 15 minutes of the first half to know that both sides are capable of stepping up a gear and turning it on. And it's lovely to include England in that, because over the years we've always thought that only the other teams who come here can do it. We've certainly got a side here that's got more than its fair share of skill, that's for sure.
Robson to Adams. Beardsley getting it back to Robson again, getting it straight at Edu, and fortunately for Brazil it falls straight to Silas, and now to Mirandini. He's got Muller up ahead of him as well. Offside flag is up. Easy for this man, Muller, only 21 years old, making that long journey. He only arrived at something like 5 o'clock last evening and went straight from the airport to the Queen's Park Rangers training ground out in West London, and started training after a 13-hour flight. With jet lag and all the other considerations, it's quite some feat for him to be out here playing tonight. And of course it was he who made the equaliser for Brazil, Muller. This is Silas. I can't believe the weather here for May. I suppose we can't either, really, but it's very, very hot at the moment in Rio. And they came and trained here at Wembley on Sunday night in the most awful, cold, rainy conditions. The same again yesterday. It's been a little better for them today. squad of about 19 of them. Carlos Alberto Silva is the manager, sitting on the right of that picture just a moment ago. Robson. Waddle. Now Stevens. Waddle again to Bryan Robson. Old Cho deserted him there. Edu, simple little ball to Nelsinho. Miller. Mirandinho. He is again. Mirandinho. He tricked Butcher. Played it for Silas, driven by him, straight at Chilton. At the second attempt he gathered it.
Super little move there from Mirandinho. You know, he's a little bit kamikaze. He gets his head down, runs at people, but he certainly knows where he wants to go. A beautiful ball, bought the line a lot of time. And, well, second attempt for Schultz. You know, it's always a hard position, hard and low.
Now Barnes for England. Touch again by Beardsley. John Barnes again. Adams to Pearce. Pearce getting his chance, of course, because Kenny Sansom not being available. Now Barnes. Okay. His goal in Rio was even really, I was privileged to be there in the Maracanã that night, and you really had to rub your eyes to think, to believe it was really happening. It was a stunning goal, and then won by Mark Hateley. It was right on half-time that came, and then Mark Hateley won in the second half, and against all the odds, England had gained a famous victory. Well, it's 1-1 here tonight. Ricardo. Nelsinho. Edu. Giving it away to Beardsley. Reed just a little too slow, and Douglas was on him quickly. Edu's long ball catches them offside. England's free kick.
Doesn't seem to matter whether in Rio or in England. They seem to be able to hit that ball so far and so accurately. Over there we always say, oh, it's easy because of the air and the ball travels further. But tonight we've seen 4 or 5 balls of 60-70 yards. And very, very accurate, which, you know, you must admire the skill.
Butcher. Robson to Reed, or rather Waddle to Reed. And now Barnes. Little touch through. Beardsley picking out Pearce superbly for England. Pearce with a good cross. Grabbed by Carlos. Grabbed and then thrown to Edu. It'll come for Mirandini. With Valdo outside him. There's another long ball. Hit superbly with the outside of the boot by Mirandini for Muller. Played in towards the post there. And a good piece of keeping by Chilton. He had to be very positive. And as Mirandini came in, some good play by Muller. Very dangerous cross that one, Kevin.
He's been looking to do that all night, just bend it round the fullback without ever beating him. And of course it's going away from the goalkeeper, Bryan. And Peter Shilton did great there. He commands that 6-yard box. When he's like that, you know, you always feel they're never ever going to score.
Waddle in a much more central position now in this second half. 12 minutes of it gone, still 1-1 the score. With Robson. And now Gary Stevens. Trying to get Lineker. Aldo. Josimar. Valdo. Silas. Back by Muller to Silas. Josimar. World Cup triangle there of Brazilian players. Aldo making it the quartet. Muller. Edu. Mirandinha. This could be trouble. A little bit of acceleration, and the shot was wide.
He's looking more and more dangerous as the game goes on. I thought first 10-15 minutes he tried things that even Pelé wouldn't have tried at his best. But he's found his feet now, he's got his confidence. And there's no doubt about it, in this position he fancies his chance against the defence, you know. Maybe feels that running at him's going to give him rewards. And certainly here, if his shot had matched his approach work, he's in a great position.
Very nearly went to Inter Milan apparently about 4 years ago, and it was said that Naples and Diego Maradona's club were very interested in him a little earlier this season. Josimar. It's a free kick.
This Josimar, you can't help but admire the way he plays. He just strolls around. He seems to have so much skill for a fullback. We don't think of fullbacks as being like this, do we? He just doesn't want anything long. He wants to take people on. It's lovely to see. I'm not sure I'd like him playing in my side at the back, doing some of the things he's done tonight, but he's a world-class player, there's no doubt about it.
And I tell you what, he's always got a smile on his face. I've watched him a couple of times in training on Sunday and on yesterday, and the man, in spite of the rain and the terrible conditions, never stops laughing. He's a great character, I would have thought, to have in a side, Josimar. As is Beardsley for England, with another lovely ball, picking out Gary Stevens, getting it back towards Beardsley again. Took a little bit of a buffeting there, but it comes back this time for Adams. Robson. There's an urgency about England at the moment, but I think this Butcher might be forced under pressure from Mirandini to get it back to Shilton. Terry Butcher.
We mustn't stop doing the things that gave us the success in the first half, running at them, you know. They love to run at you, but they're not as happy when you run at them. And we've just started a bit of a lull now. We don't start giving them too much respect again. They're certainly not any better than we are.
Well, Robson really fighting to win that ball for England. Waddle then losing it, and it's with Edu. Little dummy there by Valdo. Played in again, this time to Silas. Mirandini with a little flick with the outside of the boot again. Douglas getting it back again. Played forward this time towards Muller, but Shilton will be there for England. Still 1-1. And a quarter of an hour now of the second half gone. Them doing some hounding here. And Butcher keeping his head, finding Pearce, but then it's going away. It's with Edu. This could be a problem. Robson doing so much work in the middle of the field for England. And away come England now, again, with Gary Lineker. And behind, for a corner. Distracted just for a moment with the sight of no fewer than 6 England subs warming up on the far side. So England's corner. John Barnes again with it. Floated high there towards Bryan Robson. He's so good getting in with that sort of header, but it's wide and a goal kick. Robson saying that he was going to get a whole squad of 19 stripped. Officially he's allowed just 2 substitutes. One of the problems he had also is that the shirts only number as far as 18. Butcher. Again, very positive piece of play by Geraldo, the big defender. Above Gary Lineker. Mirandini. This could be dangerous. He's got Muller on one side, he's got Edu on the other, and Pearce collecting for England.
He breaks very, very quick, this centre forward, and it's a job for the other lads to get with him. You know, he's almost waiting on him. He is quick. I mean, he's impressed me more and more as the game's gone on. Mirandini. noticeable, Bryan, that the pace of the game's dropped a little, you know, and I'm wondering if Bobby Robson feels that and feels that maybe some of the players are a bit tired. There's no doubt about it, long, hard season, a lot of these players, and maybe an injection of a fresh pair of legs might just be the answer. They hate to pass it back, don't they? It's almost as if it's banned.
It was a lovely little bit of control, though, shielding the ball well from the England player, finding Mirandini. Now Silas. They're really beginning to blossom now, the Brazilians. That was charged down by Terry Butcher. Another corner for Brazil.
You feel for the first time in the game, Bryan, that they've started to dominate the pace a little bit and take the game to England. And you couldn't say the same in the first half. And it's frightening. When they go forward, it doesn't matter who's got the shirts on, as we said, they just look so exciting.
Well, it's Edu with a good left foot with this corner. Butcher seeking to win it in the air, but in fact must have been pushed by Geraldo, giving England the free kick. Terry Butcher winning his 51st cap tonight. He missed the game in Turkey because of injury. Here's Robson. He's had a really busy time. He's just got back from a tour of Malta, playing in Malta with Manchester United, and leaves next week, I gather, for Australia for another tour. England star of the night, in my view, Peter Beardsley. He is again a little touch for Pearce. Now Robson, who's done a tremendous job in the second half. He is again going after that one, but he really had no chance. Edu finding Mirandini and Muller. Well, it was as well for England that Butcher got hold of that one. Robson. Beardsley. Touch for Barnes. Robson following it up. Peter Reid. Beardsley. Well, the crowd, in fact, beginning to warm more and more to Beardsley. Every time he gets the ball, the volume goes up. And now they begin to wonder what's going to happen now as Valdo finds Muller. Mirandini's on the far side. Silas is making a run in there as well. And Adams putting it behind for the corner. A tremendous break there. And Adams having sharp words with Gary Stevens. And another terrific break here by the Brazilians.
Typifies them, Bryan, you know, within 10 seconds from being in trouble in their own box, they've actually got a chance the other end. And it's incredible. I don't know how they do it so quickly.
Affected by the near post as well. Stevens missed it. Pearce put it away for another Brazilian corner. Muller being watched by Gary Stevens. That's in the six-yard area as well. Mirandini in there too. This is Muller. And again here for Edu. Put it straight at Barnes, and that should be easy enough. Towards the halfway mark of the second half. Robson for England. Well, there was a danger that this Brazilian side was going to be written off as no-hopers because they were coming without so many of their stars, but they've shown a certain quality here tonight. It's a Brazil throw.
Bryan, there's always talk of managers watching the Brazilians and certain players in the showcase. There's one player, you rightly said, is outstanding here tonight. That's Peter Beardsley. Everything he's done, every touch he's had has added to the game. And he's the one, if I was looking at a big club with some money to spend, he's the one you'd want. Although I wouldn't like to see him go from Newcastle for personal reasons, obviously.
It's an England throw. Gary Stevens with it. Winning his 14th cap tonight, Peter Beardsley. Surprising to find he's only scored a couple of goals
I think he'd be top of the assists in America, though, Brian. He's
Sure
made
he
an
will.
awful lot, as Gary Lineker will vouch.
Well, tonight was an example. His pass for Lineker's header, and then Mirandini equalising for Brazil. 1-1 the score, halfway through the second half. Muller now for Brazil. Valdo. Josimar. Silas. Little flick. And Pearce happy to get that one away to Waddle. A good man to pick out. Crowd urging Waddle to get forward. Finding Beardsley. Another lovely ball by Beardsley, this time for Gary Stevens. Stevens got the better of his man. Needs a good cross, but on the other end of it was Ricardo. Waddle again. And Beardsley again. Stevens. Flag is up, all out of play.
I'm sure Bobby Robson must be thinking about throwing some fresh legs on, because we just lost a momentum for the last 10-15 minutes, and I don't think it'd do any harm at all. Tactically, it'd be a good move, I think.
Now Waddle. Back heel, the ball stays in. Beardsley playing in for Peter Reid. And Ricardo getting it away to Geraldo, and the throw from Carlos. Silas. Edu. Douglas. Edu. Robson again with the determination, getting in and making something happen for England. Barnes now finding Beardsley. Another delightful ball by Beardsley. Played in first time and stopped at full stretch by Carlos. After Waddle had put in another quality ball for England. A lovely pass from Beardsley in the first place. Josimar, half stopped, held up a little bit by Reid. Edu, very cheekily, finding Valdo. Irandine is on ahead of him. And straight at Shilton. Beardsley. Stevens. Reid. Beardsley again. This time Robson bringing Stuart Pearce in. Leaving it for Beardsley. Tried a little dummy. Valdo calling Mirandini closer to him. Robson's getting through some work in the middle of the field, Kevin.
He's a tremendous captain, because he leads by inspiration. You know, a lot of people say, well, he hasn't got in the box much. Like that. He's broke up so many of their little attacks and won it and given it to people who've made something out of it. And that's Robbo. You know, he's always involved, and he's a great skipper. He leads by example. I think he's a fantastic player.
Well, now here's Brazil again, making another good break with Silas at the heart of it once more. Valdo making a run for him. Josimar's here too. Muller's on the outside. And good, strong challenge by Stuart Pearce. That'll do him a bit of good.
That's known as an hospital ball in our game, Bryan, the one that we just got there. You wake up and there's suddenly a nurse looking over you if you go for them. It wasn't a very good pass from his teammate.
Josimar with Brazil's throw. Edu. Geraldo. Douglas. Silas again, popping up all across that midfield now is the number 8. Here he is once more. Finding Edu. Douglas. He's just in front of the back four all the time. Silas once more. Waddle's gone down this time. And now Josimar, a little bit of space to attack Gary Stevens, or rather to attack Pearce, and Pearce has half stopped him. No problems in the end for Shilton. And Waddle is still down. And Shilton kicks the ball out so that Fred Street can come on and tend to the England number 11.
That's what often happens to forwards when they try to tackle or get stuck in. They always hurt themselves because they don't know how to do it. But Chris Waddle certainly has added a string to his bow. In his Newcastle days, he would be standing with his hands on his hips. Now he's starting to chase and look for the ball and work for it when the other side's got it. And I think he's improved at least 25% on his Newcastle form. He's a great player then. He's really still learning what the game's all about, but he's learning very, very quickly.
Just over a quarter of an hour left, the score 1-1. 31 years since Brazil lost at Wembley. Back in 1956. They lost 4-2, and it looks as though there's a bit of warming up going on. Is it Mark Hateley? And Waddle is okay to go on. Shilton. Barnes. Now Adams. Edu. Pearce's header for England. Waddle again. Very given Brazil's way.
When you think about Josimar, you'd say he was one of the, if you like, one of the strong players. He's only played 4 times. It's quite a new side, you know, and they've coped very well with it, even just playing at Wembley, which is a daunting experience for any new cap, any sort of less experienced players. So they've got to give them a lot of credit for the way they played tonight.
Stevens probably hit that straight at Nelsinho. Now Valdo for Brazil. Bringing Edu in. Douglas. Wide for Josimar. Miller. And Robson there to cut it up for England. Lineker's gone on the run straight away. Waddle's away down the left for him. Here's Waddle now. They held up just a little bit to allow Josimar to get back into position. It's with Peter Reid. I don't know whether Peter will have the acceleration to get past Josimar, but he's found Chris Waddle. Pearce going outside now. Calling for a good cross for England. It's knocked out straight to Waddle. Curled in once more. Barnes on the far side. The flag was up. A substitution to be made. Sure who's going to be taken off. Barnes hitting that one over, and it's Gary Lineker, I think, who's going off. But they can't get the substitution made yet. Mirandini in the meantime for Brazil. Half stopped by Barnes. Yes, they're taking off Gary Lineker. And Mark Hateley comes on.
Well, if you made a case for playing Peter Barnes in this match, you also have to make a case for Hateley, because he scored a goal out there when he was really probably playing, I'm sure he'll agree, his best football for England. He was on a real high, so they know enough about him to know they've got to give him respect. And I think tactically it's a good move.
In the meantime, there's some defending to be done. And Mirandini putting it well wide, a goal kick to England. I think the Brazilians claiming it was a corner. But the linesman and referee in agreement. It's Glenn Hoddle alongside Gary Lineker. Now Hateley's first touch. The goal he scored in Rio, of course, altered his whole football career. Persuaded Milan to pay a lot of money for him, and he's prospered to a large extent now in Italy. They're probably leaving there now. Reed trying to get that through to Beardsley. Edu making the clearance for Brazil. Ricardo, now Edu. Butcher winning it in the air. Robson bringing it forward again for England. Waddle. Now Pearce. Robson. Reed. And now Barnes. Now, can he scorch them as he did 3 years ago? No. Stevens with the throw. Reed to Stevens. Chipped very cheekily there for Barnes. And a shot in the back on Nelsinho, and a free kick to Brazil.
I think John Barnes having another frustrating night. There's no doubt about it. He gives everything he's got, and he tries to do what he does at Watford, but for some reason it just doesn't happen in that white shirt. It hasn't up to now. And it must be as frustrating for him as it is for everybody who knows what he's capable of, because he's got so much talent. You would think of all the players, he would be an England player the way he plays, you know. His style would suit this pitch, for example.
Robson, and now Barnes again. Stevens hitting it forward, high towards Hateley. Up he goes. Knocked down for Beardsley, tried to get it back through for Hateley, but didn't quite succeed. Josimar. Muller. Josimar's got on the break. Silas. Has been operating very much down the right flank in the second half, and yet with memories of Mexico, you remember him flying down the left and putting in crosses for the likes of Lineker, particularly against Argentina.
He's got this ability to play at every side, and he gets in great position like he did there, but it's just not going for it at the moment. And, call it lack of confidence, just call it jinx, but it just doesn't happen. I'm sure it will, because I'm a great believer. I think cream always rises to the top eventually. Sometimes it takes a little while.
Here's Muller. Douglas, Josimar, Muller. Oh, there's a tough challenge there by Pearce. Now, if he had been booked, in fact, and I think the referee for a moment, the referee for a moment was feeling in his pocket for his book and realised, I think, that he'd already taken or given a yellow card to Stuart Pearce.
It would have been very harsh. I think he settled down a lot better second half and looked more accomplished. He certainly had a few nerves early on, which you would expect of a young player.
That was a really rash challenge there, though. And here come Brazil again. Cut out that time by Butcher. Now Stevens. Still remaining at 1-1. About 8 minutes remaining. Robson. Waddle. Robson again. Pearce. Reed playing it in towards Hateley. Offside goal, a free kick.
The one thing you must do when you've got Hateley in the side is you must get wide and get the right sort of crosses in. You know, he needs the right type of service. It's no good having him there and playing in balls from that angle.
Brazil, in fact, bringing on two substitutes. One is Rai. They're taking off Silas and Edu. And that's Dunga, the number 15. And this is Rai. Now, I wonder if you notice a similarity. He's the brother of the great Sócrates, the great Brazilian star of the last couple of World Cups. Sócrates, who's now retired, but this is his brother, who goes under the name of Rai. It's Muller. Rai. Little touch by him. Muller. It's a great first touch, and Dunga waiting in the middle. And here's Barnes for England to Reed. Fresh legs have quickened up the pace that little bit. 7 minutes of the game left. 1-1 still the score. Tony Adams for England. The touch as Beardsley now tries to get Waddle away on the right. It's Ricardo. That's a free kick. Your enthusiasm for the England performance in the first half, has it waned a little bit now in the second, Kevin?
I still think it's been a good performance. We've seen a lot of good things. Certainly haven't fired on all cylinders in the second half. There were some great flowing moves in the first, and we took the game more to Brazil. I definitely think, you know, if it was a boxing match, we won the first half on points. They certainly, for me, deserved the second half. But it's been a nice match. It's been a great experience for the lads, because you don't play against the likes of these type of players every week. They are different. And they do pose you different problems from the normal, and it's a great learning experience. Football's got to be there.
They're playing it forward. Bilandini stopped by Shilton, and a corner given. Just 5 minutes to go now. Bilandini miscued badly there. Beardsley with a little ball played for Robson, but he had to hurry that clearance. Under again. And again. And a shot saved by Shilton.
He looks a little bit like Zico, doesn't he? And certainly he wouldn't be scared of shooting from there. Dips a little bit, this one.
Haley. Waddle with the throw. Reed. Pulled in for Beardsley by Adams. Gainey gets it wide for Waddle. One past Dunga. Seeking to go past Morsinho. There's the cross coming in. Knocked down now for Robson to have a dig at goal. It's wide of the mark.
That's the sort of service that Big Haley needs, you know. Ball's coming in from wide, and he's very dangerous, and he'll pose problems for any defence. He's such a big, strong lad.
Just for the moment, a look of satisfaction on the face of Bobby Robson there. It's some good work here by Waddle, and that's what Haley is supposed to do. And the shot from Robson going wide. So goal kick to Brazil. Inside the last 5 minutes now. 1-1 still the score.
He's had a good game, Bryan, the big number 3, Geraldo.
And so is Mirandini, the scorer of Brazil's goal. And here he comes again, launching himself towards that penalty area. It comes now for Rai. And a shot by Baldo, well wide. And a player down injured at the other end of the field. And the referee's attention being drawn dramatically to that. And two trainers quickly on. See which one it is. And we think it's Geraldo. Just going back to the England victory in 1956 here when they won 4-2. A lot of the old blimps like myself who are watching tonight, I suppose it might just be pleasant to wallow in a bit of nostalgia just to remind you of the team that England put out that day. Reg Matthews in goal, Jeff Hall and Roger Byrne and Ronnie Clayton and Billy Wright, Duncan Edwards, Stanley Matthews, John Attio, Tommy Taylor of Manchester United who scored 2, Johnny Haynes and Colin Granger who scored 2. A great game, and they won it 4-2. And England hadn't scored another victory against Brazil until that win in Rio in 1984. Well, it looks as though he's fit to go on. Geraldo. And a goal kick at the other end for England. Terry Butcher. His head up. Reed will intercept this little pass for Stuart Pearce. Maybe trying to turn, but he was fouled by Geraldo. It'll be a free kick for England. Stevens. It's coming in again, but it'll fall for Beardsley. Now for Wobble. Oh, a nice little dummy by him. And a good cross, a searching one coming in, and Butcher's right in there. And Haley almost hooked it home, but there was a foul on the keeper. And it'll be a free kick to Brazil. A great piece of play by Chris Wobble, when it looked impossible to be able to get the cross in. And Carlos, the goalkeeper, down and injured for the moment. He really whipped in a good cross there, a deep one as well. Butcher in at the far side, a foul on the keeper. Haley trying to get in as well.
I'm sure some of that team you read out before, Brian, that's the sort of thing that I think a lot of players don't agree with today. I mean, I personally don't think it was a foul. I mean, they both went for the same ball. You've got to allow physical challenge. The keeper's got his hands. All Butcher's has gone up for the ball. But it seems as if you just got to touch him these days. I mean, people remember the times when you can bundle him in the back of the net. You know, I'm not saying that's right either. But certainly goalkeepers enjoy a lot of privileges that sometimes maybe they take it a little too far. He's a good goalkeeper, this lad. There's no doubt about it.
His handling's been excellent under pressure tonight, isn't it, once or twice.
Very, very good.
We're now playing time added on for stoppages. This three-cornered contest for the Rous Cup. England, Brazil and Scotland battling for it. In memory of the great Sir Stanley Rous, former president of FIFA, and the distinguished secretary of our own FA, of course. This is Rye, the brother of Sócrates. Stopped though by Butcher, played back to Shilton. Wobble playing it along for Beardsley. The last seconds of the game. Beardsley for Wobble. Laid in for Robson here. But England yet make a last strike. Stuart Pearce going forward. A good cross by him, just a little too high though for Haley. It might still come for England now in the end. Brazil under a lot of pressure, get it away as far as Rye. Time added on at the end of 90 minutes. Wobble playing the long ball forward again towards Haley. But Geraldo wins it quite comfortably in the air. Josimar gets it away to Rye. And now England are under pressure. Here's Muller. Play for Rye. It might come for Muller. They get it away. It's with Reed. Another look at the referee's watch. Reed playing it away. And an offside against Mark Haley. So a free kick then to Brazil. Very briefly, Kevin, just about the right result as we come towards the final whistle.
I think a just result. As I said before, England had the better of the first half, and certainly Brazil have come more into it. I think we've seen 2 or 3 players in the Brazilian side tonight we're going to see a lot of. I like very much Geraldo. I think this Mirandinha is a tremendous play. He's just grown and grown on me as the game goes on.
Well, that's the final whistle. And the first game in the Rous Cup for this season finishes in a 1-1 draw after England, with a really sprightly start, had scored a magnificent goal through Gary Lineker after Peter Beardsley had made a delightful cross from the left, and then Mirandini, just a matter of seconds later, had made it level at 1-1 for Brazil, and that's the way it stayed right to the end. The final score then here at Wembley: England 1, Brazil 1.